Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our second Connection broadcast. We thank you very much for your time and busy schedules, so we really appreciate you taking this hour to join us this afternoon. I first want to start off by quickly introducing the staff again. If you didn't get a chance to see our last broadcast, we each got to introduce ourselves and our job duties, but just for a quick overview today, I'm just going to quickly introduce each of us. To my right is Jen Pearson. To my left is Jennifer Malraux, and to my farthest left is Monica Stotine. And we're all here in the CUcard staff department answering any questions and your calls and request and connect on a daily basis. So I first want to start off with the session breakout, give you an idea of what we're going to overview today. The first thing we're going to do is review positive balance file schedules and exception report. We're going to look at lost and stolen and fraud case sheet review. The next thing we're going to do is compromise card listings and the procedures involved, and the database cleanup and review reports. And in a whole nother miscellaneous area, we're going to introduce connecting the dots, the little tip of the day is going to be introduced, chargeback request form, as well as future broadcasts, and open up for questions and answers at the end. And again, if there's any questions throughout each section you'd like to ask us during this forum, please go ahead and on the right of your screen you have a little chat box. You can go ahead and ask any questions you may have of us during each section. This broadcast is a little bit different than before. We're going to just do an open forum setting. Each of us are going to discuss each section as well as ask questions throughout, just a little different format than training before. So we're first going to start off with positive balance file schedule and the exception report. I'm going to hand that over to Jennifer at this time.
Thanks, Michelle. The positive balance file schedule starts at 6 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturdays it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And when you're uploading your file, just make sure that you see that pre-validation successful. That's letting you know that that your file has been uploaded correctly, that there hasn't been any errors at all. And then once it's been completed, which it is guaranteed within the hour, once it's been completed, you'll see processing completed. If you do see an error, you'll know that you'll just need to re-upload that file. And I would go in and check this to make sure that it has been updated. You know, every time when you go to upload your file, make sure that it does say processing completed, so you know that that file has been done before you upload a new file. And you can check that under libraries on your dashboard.
So Jennifer, they don't have to, if there is an error, they don't have to delete it or anything, right? They can just go ahead and upload right over it?
Yes, that's correct. You can go ahead and just upload a new file, and once you see pre-validation successful, you know that that is okay, and it'll be completed within the hour. And again, it is located on your dashboard under the Libraries tab. It says Positive Balance File.
And Michelle, there's a report that goes along with this that credit unions can take a look at, isn't there?
Yeah, in that same section, in the libraries section under exception report, you will have this report generated every time a positive balance file is run. So when you upload that positive balance file, it says pre-validation successful. It will be, as Jennifer said, run within the hour. And once that file has been run and uploaded to Vantiv, the exception report is then uploaded to the exceptions directory. And this report is generated again each time a positive balance file is run. The accounts errors on that report will let you know many different things. One, telling you that you're sending an account balance for a card that is no longer active and you need to stop sending that balance. It also lets you know that if a balance is not being sent on a draft or a share account, that you have an active card on and you need to send as soon as possible to be able to have that card work properly in regards to that. The times you should check that, if you can't check that report every time you send a positive balance file, because I know some of you upload hourly, it's probably a really good idea to check it at least once a day. It gives you an idea if the actual card that you have hotted, if you ordered a card, if the positive balance file doesn't drop from that list, then you know something might have gone wrong with that card order. So it's a good double check each day to say, hey, the cards that I ordered in the positive balance file balances I'm uploading, are they processing correctly? So please don't forget to check that report every day.
I feel like we do get a fair amount of calls from credit unions that they're not sure why the member's balance isn't correct, and it's something on their processor side. So this is just a great way for you to take that first step even before calling us to see, you can do a quick search. You can do Control F and search by the account number and see if there's an error, and then you can check your processor side. But of course, we always welcome calls if you want us to check for you as well. But it's just something that you can proactively do before the member even has an issue. So
Great, and I'm going to have Monica go ahead and talk about the fraud case sheets at this time.
Sure. So fraud and prevention are the case sheets that we send to you. You're probably very familiar with them. We send them on a regular basis, some credit unions more than others. But this is when Vantive's their fraud department is called Prism. They notice certain transactions on a specific member's account that are flagged for fraud. So we send a notification to you. We have a quick cover sheet saying that the case has been opened and that there is potential fraud, and we will fax that to you, and then we'll follow up with either a call or an email. Typically it's Jennifer and myself that handle those, but Jen sometimes covers for that as well, so you feel free to contact any of us if you have questions, but typically it's Jennifer or myself, and we will place the hot card in Connect. You do not need to do anything with the hotting. You just need to let us know if it is fraud or not, and then from there we will close out the case and complete the hot card in Connect.
Monica, is the member able to call fraud and prevention, or do you prefer the credit union to call?
Sure. There's actually 3 different ways you can handle it. Some credit unions do have their member call Prism back, and sometimes the member calls even before you have notified them of this potential fraud, because they've already received a call from Prism by the time that we've gotten the case sheet to let you know. That's the first action they take, is to try to call the member. So the member can call back themselves and verify the transactions, or you as a credit union actually can call as well. And it's right on that front cover letter case sheet. It has the 1-800 number. It's very easy. You call in, you give them your reference number, and confirm if it's fraud or not. But as always, we are happy to do that for you if you would prefer to simply report with us if it's fraud or not, and we can close out that case and take it from there.
I'm going to have, in the same lines, I'm going to have Jen talk about lost and stolen, similar situations, but it's if a member calls the 1-800 number.
So if member either loses their card or has their card stolen outside of business hours, a lot of times they will contact Vantive directly to block the card, because as I'm sure all of you do go home at the end of the day and aren't there all the time to take care of it. So this is something they can do themselves to stay on top of things, make sure their card is blocked when it goes missing. We receive an email from Vantive when they do this, and from that email I will contact whoever the main contact is at your credit union to let them know that your member has indeed contacted lost and stolen to report their card to get blocked. And what I need back from you guys is an email confirming that the card is either lost or stolen. Find out what the situation is from the cardholder, and let us know if you'd like to alert MasterCard, because that does vary from credit union to credit union, and we don't like to assume anyone would or would not like to alert them.
Jennifer, or Jen, in this case, does the credit union have to put the hot card in Connect as well?
No. I will handle the hot card. I'll put that into the system and confirm that as soon as you guys get a hold of me and let me know what happened with that. The only thing the credit union representative has to do is to submit a new card order if the member would like a new card.
And that's the same with fraud and prevention as well. You will handle the ordering a new card side.
Great. Well, in the case of that, we're going to go over to Monica, and we're going to talk about compromised card listings and the procedures.
Sure.
At this point.
So the compromised card lists are a little bit different than the fraud and preventions, but they do sometimes get confused together. Like I said, the fraud and prevention is member specific and transaction specific. The compromised card list is a greater scale. Doesn't mean it's a large scale, but it's a more general. These are some cards that are potentially compromised. So we will receive notification typically from MasterCard. Sometimes we do get them from Vantiv, but typically from MasterCard, and we will notify you within 1 business day of this compromise. We will upload to Connect the case sheet, which has the compromise alert number on it. And that typically starts with an MCA, and then it's got some other digits. And then we'll upload the listing of all of the cards that are potentially compromised, as well as the case sheet with information. And then from there, we will send out an important email. We'll flag it as important, so hopefully you catch it right away. And we send it to typically 2 representatives within each credit union, because we really want to make sure that you do receive this notification. If you're not typically already getting that email and you'd like to be added to that list, just email Jennifer or myself, and we'll make a note of that you do receive that email. And then the next steps that you take is to hot the card. We do have a policy in regards to the compromised card listings that all cards should be hotted within 10 business days. And if they're not hotted within that time frame of 2 weeks, 10 business days, we will hot it on the 11th business day. But if you, as a credit union, choose not to, sometimes the member is traveling or there's other situations that you would not like. You don't want the card hotted right away, just let us know. You can email or call any of us, and we will make a note that that specific card should not be hotted on the 11th business day. But we are going to start to be a little bit stricter with that and really keep up on those lists. So it would be really helpful if you can just please take note of that.
And Monica, when they do submit the hot cards for each of the members, do you want them to put anything in the comment section to differentiate?
Yes, thank you. That would be really helpful. We are going to update the cover letter, but we would like an additional information in the note sheet to say which alert you're submitting the hot card for. So it'll say right on that case sheet cover letter, the MCA or the VNTV for Vantiv, and then the number. So if you can just stick that in the comments section, that would really help us to know which case sheet, because as you know, lately we've been getting a fair amount of them popping up, small ones, so this will just help us know which one directly to go to.
And Michelle, how important is it to hot these cards on these lists?
It's really important. As we had said in our last broadcast, I think we covered a little bit of this. It's really important to get these cards hotted as soon as possible. And again, if you do choose to not hot it due to the member traveling, and it's just really important to get that hotted as soon as the member does get their new card or come back from their travels. We see primarily for those cards that haven't been hotted, fraud occurring anywhere from 6 to 12 months in time after the actual compromise itself. So there have been fraud cases over the years, and pretty big fraud cases where a card wasn't hotted and the member's account got attacked. The fraudsters tend to sit on the accounts for some time. They might do some test transactions where PRISM will come into play and will catch one card here or there, but over time they may take that list and sell it a couple different times, and then even like I said, 12 months down the road, you end up having compromise or fraudulent transactions on those cards.
And I think we had one just recently, Jennifer, didn't we?
Yeah.
Of some fraud did come through, and I believe it was, several $100s.
About $700 that came through because it wasn't hotted.
Yeah.
At the time, it was hotted about 4 months later, and unfortunately, fraud did occur.
Great. Where do we find these past alerts in Connect, Monica?
Yes, if you need to look these up, they are located on the left-hand side of the dashboard under Document Libraries section. And all of them are archived there, so if your credit union has a lot of these lists, you can scroll all the way to the bottom and it'll typically say 1 through 30 and then a little arrow, so you can click on that to go to the next page if you have a lot of lists.
Great. The next section that we're going to talk about is database cleanups, reviews, and reports, which I'll hand it over to Jennifer.
Great. Thank you. Yes, we have 2 lists currently on the Connect dashboard, and these lists really are really easy to help you clean up your database. The first list is the deletable check card list, which are hot cards without activity for 6 months or more. This list is for batch and online credit unions without card extract. It's a great tool to submit those deletes to go ahead and clean up your database. The next list is the cards without activity list, which are active cards without activity for 6 months or more, which this list is really for batch credit unions only. These lists are located right on the dashboard on the left-hand side under the report section.
Jennifer, can credit unions customize the lists?
Great question. Yes, you can. You can customize the list to any months. Right now we do have them set at 6 months that you'll see on the dashboard, but you can customize it to 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, whatever your credit union decides.
How often would you say a credit union should check this list?
I would say if you have the time, monthly would be great, but I know everybody's very busy, so even quarterly would be help just to kind of stay on top of it to keep the database as clean as possible.
And how often do the lists get updated in Connect?
It's great because the system updates every evening, so first thing in the morning you'll have a current database.
The next section we're going to talk about this afternoon is just a few miscellaneous stuff for the rest of this broadcast. We're going to start off by handing it over to Jen, and we're going to introduce the tip of the day, which we're calling Connecting the Dots.
Yeah, we are going to start posting every Monday morning Connect Tip of the Day. And as Michelle mentioned, we are calling this Connecting the Dots. Every Monday morning, I will post in your announcements section on the right side of your dashboard a little, tidbit, trick, tip, whatever you want to call them, to help you guys be able to navigate Connect a little easier, or just to kind of remind of a few things that we would prefer that you do. Things like how Monica mentioned with the fraud case sheets, that you don't have to hop the card. We'll take care of that. You just have to make sure that you order the brand new card for the member, or information on the database cleanup that Jen was just talking about. So we're going to make sure that we try and have as many new ones as possible. We'll do some reminders if it seems like there's information people need to hear a few times, and any information that you do see on there that you find helpful but might not recall maybe 2 months later, we're actually going to put into a document and archive it under with all the training materials, so that you guys can go back, look at the document, kind of see what you're trying to remember and maybe can't, and keep track of all the fun little tidbits.
Can you remind us where to look for those and what day of the week we might upload them?
I'm going to upload them Monday morning, and every time I upload a new one to Connect, I will add it to the archive database, the archive file, so that it'll be current every single week. And the training materials can be found on the left side of your dashboard.
Great. And in that lines, on the training materials section, in our last session, we had gone over the chargeback request form, and if you didn't get a chance to review that broadcast, it has this chargeback request form breakout and review and how to fill it out. But I'll hand it over to Jennifer to talk a little bit more about that form that has been uploaded.
Yes, thank you everybody for submitting your chargeback request via this new form. It's been very helpful to have all the information all in one place, and I hope that it's helpful for you guys as well when you're speaking with the member and collecting all of this information to dispute the transaction. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback on it. It seems that the members are really calling the merchant right away, trying to get more information and receive credits. So we're seeing a lot more of that, which is good news. And so you can find this form, again, it's on the dashboard under Training Materials on Forms Directory. And this is a fillable PDF form, so you can just kind of click through the form. Please make sure you are completing the entire form. It's just helpful for us to have as much information as possible. And then you can go ahead and submit it via email or print it out and fax it to us as well.
So when they print it out, Jennifer, I know we've been getting some that are printed, filled out typed in online, and then printed out and faxed to us, and then others are just printing the blank form and then handwriting it. So I think you'd agree with me that we do prefer, if you're able, if you're not having any computer issues with Adobe, the PDF, that if you can fill that out electronically, and you don't have to, if your credit union doesn't have capability to email it, you can still fill it out right within that screen when it pops up. Like Jennifer said, go through and click on each box, fill it in, and then you can print and fax to us. It's just sometimes when it comes through the fax with different pens, it's a little bit trickier to read. So, and it is a little bit easier for you as well to just go ahead and type that up. But either way, we're really enjoying using the form, and I think it is helping us.
Yeah, and I think one of the other reminders is if you do end up not hitting the submit button at the bottom, just please go ahead and it goes to Monica, and we have a copy going to Jennifer. But if you end up actually typing just Jennifer's email address, it ends up just going to Jennifer. So if you do not use the button at the bottom and automatically have it submit through your email server, just make sure to copy both Monica and Jennifer, so if one is out, the other is aware of that actual request coming through. In that same lines, in that same section, in the training materials section, we have other materials that we have uploaded in the last couple months, and we've emailed everybody out as well. We have the connection broadcasts. So if you didn't get a chance to see the first live broadcast, that has been archived and uploaded to this section. There's also a reference guide on this actual chargeback request form, right, Monica, that we've uploaded as well.
Yep.
Directions, if you didn't get a chance to see that as well.
Step-by-step chargeback process, which is really great, just a breakdown, and then the chargeback reference guide.
Yeah. And we're in the middle of actually looking at our ATM dispute form and making that a PDF form as well, and similar to the chargeback request form, because we've had such positive information or responses back from that form, and going to be working on the ATM dispute form and uploading that one as well. This section also has help videos. If you didn't get a chance in the beginning of last year to view the help videos, there's how to hot a card or how to force a pin, just really one quick 1 to 2 minute videos that are also uploaded in this section as well.
And just one other quick thing, we've had some credit unions having trouble getting the fillable PDFs to download when they've been in Connect, and I believe the best fix that Michelle noticed is if you are clicking on, when you're hovering over the document, it says chargeback request submission form, and you click on it, and typically your PDFs will load, but this fillable one won't. Instead, just hover to the left, there's a little checkbox, and check that box, and then at the top it'll say download a copy, and then we've so far we haven't heard from anyone that they haven't been able to do that. So for some credit unions, just clicking on the title doesn't work, but they can click the checkbox and then download a copy. But if you need further instruction, just give us a call.
Yeah, a lot of firewalls will block that request. And we've had other credit unions not have the updated Adobe Reader. So I know Jennifer had a credit union contact her and was struggling, and it was just because the Adobe Reader hadn't been updated for some time. So even making sure that you have the most current Adobe Reader downloaded is really important as well.
So we really thank you for joining us today on this broadcast, and we look forward to doing another broadcast soon. And we would really love your feedback on this, of what's working, what's not, maybe something you preferred from the previous one or something you'd like to see. Also, specific topics that you have that you would like us to cover, things that you have questions on or you need training on. We would love to cover those. And so I believe we'll be sending out within the next week or so just a brief survey via email, so please do fill that out if you've been able to watch this, and even if you archived it and are watching it later, we'd still love your feedback within the next week or so we can just improve these so that they're most beneficial to you.
And the next one we're actually looking forward to doing in the next couple of months, while actually Monica is out on maternity leave. She will be out most likely starting in October for a couple months. So we will, in her absence, instead of actually doing one of these training sessions for the CUcard group, we're going to do more of a technology session, live webinar. And we hope to get maybe Diebold, Vantiv, and others on the line, depending on the hot topics of the month or the year, to talk about a little bit further on the technology side. So if you are a CUcard representative within your credit union who has other people who might look for that side to watch one of those webinars, you can certainly pass our email on to them once we notify you of that session. So, but please give us your input. We'd love to hear from you and get your ideas on other things you'd like to learn more about or are interested in hearing our opinions on as well. So we would like to open up to a question and answer forum at this time. If you just give me a second and see if there's any questions that we had. So I don't think there's any other questions. We'll give a few seconds to get any other questions in. But again, I want to quickly say thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope these little areas of information help out for anybody in your credit union. So please certainly pass this link on to anyone that would like to watch the archive, and we'll get the archive out on Connect as well once we have recorded it and uploaded the session. But we thank you very much for joining us today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this session.